خير في اتباع من سلف وكل شر في ابتداع.
كن سلفيا على الجادة.
طيب، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. So Alhamdulillah, we continue again, inshallah ta'ala. So in this is part 2, bi'idhnillah. In part 2, we're going to talk about the points that we mentioned in the previous majlis, because there were issues that obviously we couldn't get through to all the way to the end of our bath or our delivery here. But inshallah ta'ala, we're going to talk about the different types of books and what part they play in your research, what to look out for in a book, tips on making tahqiq of references in a book, dealing with books of hadith. Specifically, I sectioned that out specifically because there's some interesting and intriguing factors of dealing with books of hadith. And wallahu alam, in my from what I've seen, they're the most easy when referencing and citing and trying to find a statement, because they're yukhtam. We'll mention why, inshallah, and we'll talk about that briefly when we get there. Importance of understanding the authors and of publication methodology is very, very important. Some avoidable mistakes and difficulties faced during research. Some funny blunders, actually, you'll be surprised. And it's a combination of lack of knowledge or hastiness, or maybe both. So without further ado, inshallah, let's continue. But I wanted to kind of quickly just mention some points, hence why you see this page of picturing the Mas'ala al-Khilafiyya. I just wanted to mention some issues on just khilaf, some points I mentioned. I forgot to maybe mention, but alhamdulillah, it's just an extra point. So what it is we mentioned you got to think about all of the points that allude, or all of the points of the taswir al-mas'ala for this khilaf issue. When if your mas'ala is a mas'ala khilafiyya. Also, you could do something known as elimination process. So when you're trying to do the taswir of the mas'ala of the ikhtilaf, you're trying to do an elimination process. So what you can do is you can look at the issue. Mathalan, if we look at the issue of satr al-awra, hukum satr al-awrat al-rajul fi salah. The ulama, they speak into aqwal. So the tahrir mahal al-niza', for that, you'll try to do that via how? Finding the point of contention. Finding the point of contention, you do that by, for example, eliminate. Another way is elimination process. So the issue of satr al-awra for the rajul in salah, what's the different about? So you probably ask yourself, okay, first of all, there's no khilaf that the musalli is ordered to do the satr al-awra fi salah. Okay, so take that one out. There's no khilaf that that if he prayed while he was exposed, his awra was exposed, then depending on what was covered or what was not covered, or how long, there's some speech about that. Some scholars say if it's like accidental and it just slips, there's no issues. But depending on that, they will have to consider that too. So, but they know that if the person does it amdan, though, the person done it on purpose, then obviously he's asiyan athiman bidalik, he's sinful for that. So they don't differ on that too. So rather we find out actually the khilaf is that is كون ستر العورة شرطا لصحة الصلاة, that is covering the private part a shart for the correction of the salah. That's where they differ. هل تبطل به الصلاة هل تبطل به الصلاة, does the salah become negated due to it? So that's just an extra fa'idah there in regards to making tahrir mahal al-niza', to find out where the point of contention is in the different, if your case is mas'ala khilafiyya. So moving on, inshallah ta'ala, now to our first segment of this part. We're going to talk about, inshallah ta'ala, the differences, dealing with the statements of the scholars. So the statements of the scholars, the principles, actually this is number 5 from part 1. So principles when referencing and quoting speech of the scholars. There's certain principles, inshallah, that you should uphold, and there are quite a few, and the list can go on and on. And some of that primarily you can understand due to understanding sabab al-khilaf, like why do scholars differ? And I'm sure Sheikh Saeed, he went on to we done part of the dawrah, the previous summer dawrah, was the book Khilaf al-Ulama, just clarifying the Khilaf of the Ulama and why they differ. So that some of that could help in dealing with scholar statements. So the first one here that I've put is the source. Okay, so when you're dealing with a scholar statement, what you first initially want to do is you want to يعني أخذ القول من المصادر. You want to take the statement of the sheikh from the actual direct source, from the direct source, because for every يعني قول from the fuqaha, يعني they have more right, يعني they basically they have more right, you take from them directly as opposed to some of the other ashab from their companions مثلا. And we mentioned an example last session. We said, Ibn Qudama مثلا in his it's not befitting that you take from the متأخرين الحنابلة for يعني while his statement is موجود في المغني, يعني you can find it in the Mughni. That's his actual authorship. Okay, so I read here, take from the books they authored themselves. So go back to that inshallah ta'ala and take it from there themselves. So and the next qaida is the types of accounts. Okay, the siyaqat and the taqreer that you find from the scholar's statement. So sometimes it could be in the form of fatwa, reports, clarifications that perhaps it was clarifying something, authorships that can be clarifications too, but authorships anyway, like as in this one can come in the form of like someone could come and ask him something and then he would document or he would say the answer of what he believes, right? Like for example, some of the ulama were accused in their aqidah of holding a false aqidah when they weren't. Like for example, Bukhari, and then he authored the book Khalq Af'al al-Ibad to clarify his stance, right? It's an authorship, but a type of authorship. And all the other general authorships in general. يعني because they can have different ways of saying things. Yeah? As we mentioned, it could be a fatwa. يعني it could be a bayan of something, right? يعني البيان يعني في التأليف, okay? Or it could even be sometimes a مناظرة. يعني it can be a مناظرة or يعني في مجال التعليم. Sometimes it could just be doing a lesson and he's teaching تعليم والتدوين and on, العلامة محمد بن سليمان الكردي, he says, he's من الشافعية, he says حيث وجد لا أحد من الأصحاب, you have to take from their statements first where you find it, not from the أصحاب. كلام في لا من الأصحاب كلام في فتاويه مخالف لكلامه. So مثلا you might find from أصحاب of Imam Malik or أصحاب الشافعي, they got كلام مخالف للإمام مالك مثلا في تصانيفه اعتمد, يعني اعتمد ما في تصانيفه لأنه موضع لذكر ما هو الأمر الكلي الذي يشترك فيه جميع الناس. Because sometimes what you can find as well sometimes is that you'll find that sometimes it's a fatwa. Okay, it may be a fatwa that he gave to a particular person, but when you find in their authorship, there may be something that would be in confliction with that. So we say here, we take from the authorship. He says, لأنه موضع للذكر ما هو الأمر الكلي الذي يشترك فيه جميع الناس. Because this is actually what he authored. And similar to that is actually, as some of you may have studied, from the Sunnah as well. The Sunnah al-Qawliya takes preference over the Sunnah al-Fi'liya. لأن the fi'l, the Prophet could have done it for a reason. Like مثلا the Zamzam, he mentioned about drinking standing, words to the effect of if you knew what was drinking standing, and then he mentioned some words defaming the drinking of standing, and then he was seen doing the fi'l, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of standing, drinking standing. But here the ulama obviously explained that no, actually it was during Hajj and it was izdiham, and there was a crowd and it was very crowdy, so he stands. So here they say, okay, you slightly haja, that is permissible for a reason. So here his fi'l contradicted his speech. So here in certain situations, here we can make a jump, but in certain situations where you can't reconcile, like this one, the Zamzam, what I gave the example of, then you'll have to take the awlawi is the priority goes to the qawliya. Why? Because a statement is a statement. يعني مستقل بمعاني مستقل يعني it has independent meaning in and of itself. But a fi'l, it could be a reason. There could be a reason why he said this. So similar to that is the aqwal of the ulama. There's going to be a reason why he gave a particular fatwa, but then you find in his book, it's different. So you stick to that which is maktub rather than that which is mantuqun للبعض. قاعدة الثالث, the third is you check what the last statement of the sheikh is. The last statement, okay? You can, for example, you'll find some of the ulama, their books, they may conflate or contradict themselves, مثلا. They may contradict themselves. And so what do you want to do in that case? In that case, what you do is you say, طيب, he said he's your Jews here, he said he's your Jews not here. And I'm going to give you an example, inshallah, of قاعدة الثاني والثالث, the third types of accounts and last statements. But just to explain first all of them. So the last time there may be a conflict in reports. So here we take the last of what's authentically reported from him, the last. Ibn Hajar, he mentions in his Tuhfa, أي تحفة المحتاج في شرح المنهاج, he mentions الراجح من القولين ما تأخر. He said the rajih, يعني the most preponderant of the two statements of a sheikh you may find, مثلا of Imam Ahmad, you find two statements on a particular issue. As they say that many times, there's many qawls, right? And riwayat of them. Obviously, with riwayat, that's a different story because you have to talk about the awlawiyat, as we're going to mention, inshallah ta'ala. But the point is, if you find two conflicting statements, he said, then the rajih is the last to date. Okay? إلى آخر ما قاله. That's what he said. To the last of what that scholar has said. Then that would be his mu'tamad. That would be the mu'tamad, inshallah. As for the قاعدة الرابعة, the last one is dealing with the statements of the ulama, is close companionship. Okay, so during conflicts, they take precedence. Who? Meaning they're close to ashab. The ashab who are known to تلقوا العلم يعني منه يعني مباشرة مشافهة أو يعني كان ملازمة بأكثر سنين من غيرهم. يعني you find them to be in companionship with them or have taken from them or to have reported from them the large amounts مثلا. Which Abu Zakaria يعني محي الدين النووي mentions. He says وما ينبغي أن يرجح به أحد القولين وقد أشار الأصحاب إلى الترجيح به. A person can't make a tarjih of one of the two statements. You say, you know what, I think I take this statement of Imam Ahmad. You can't do that while there are his close companions, i.e. his students and his talamid, and those who have taken from him or have accompanied him or have witnessed. They have made a tarjih already. They've already made a tarjih and a prepondering statement for him. He says, أن يكون الشافعي ذكره في بابه ومظنته فالذي ذكره في بابه أقوى. يعني that's أقوى, that's more in strength. Also, just extra points just to mention on the taking from the scholarly statements. And when you want to take from scholarly statements, so you want to look into the aqwal of you want to find aqwal on mas'ala, you want to find statements on mas'ala. Then there's awlawiyat, there's priorities. So the first of that is during the masail al-khilafiyah, the aqwal which the bahith, the person who's researching should go to and stop at the first is the aqwal al-sahaba. The aqwal al-sahaba, no doubt, obviously we know their makana, they've taken ilm mubasharatan from the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Then after that, inshallah ta'ala, is the musannafat al-musnada. The musannafat that you'll find from the A'immat al-Arba'a or from the A'imma, which are musnada. Musnada here meaning they actually have chains, which are, yani, you'll find is the qawl. You will find a chain going back to one of the mashayikh. So for example, if I can give an example here, and this is the types of accounts method, and I'll give you, or example of musnada. If I can just, let me just swap my screen. Can everyone see that? Okay, can everyone see that? No? You can't see the new page? Okay, hold on. Can everyone see that now? So here's an example of Imam Ahmad, for example. Okay, so look at Imam Ahmad. This book is Masail al-Imam Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, رواية ابنه عبد الله ibn Ahmad. So this is the riwayah of his son. Okay, تحقيق هنا زهير الشاويش. Here, look, you'll find even when you look at the chain, so this is Musnada, this is connected to Imam Ahmad. He says, Sa'altu Abi, I asked my father. Okay, Qara'tu ala Abi, I read upon my father. Can everyone see the book, or is it too far away? I'll make it bigger like that. Okay.
It's clear still.
Jazakallah khair. Now, so قرأت على أبي, and then he mentions the mas'ala, مثلا here, نعم, سألت أبي, I've asked my father, and here obviously he doesn't need a chain, and that's his father. He's talking about where he asked from his father, and similar to that is the daughters of Imam al-Albani. They have a book they authored. One of them is called سألت أبي. It's called I asked my father, and then she documents all the fatawa of Sheikh al-Albani رحمه الله. قرأت على أبي قلت إذا اغتسل الجنب في البئر. And he asked him, he's asking about a mas'ala here about al-ghusl, مثلا. So the answer comes. So this is Masail al-Imam Ahmad from the riwayah of his son. Okay, Bab al-Ghusl, Ma'il, Hammam. Another type, for example, is here we have Masail Imam Ahmad. This is min riwayat Abi Bakr, Muhammad ibn Bakr ibn, basically Abi Dawood السجستاني, عفوا, reading the wrong way. Abi Dawood Sulaiman ibn Ash'ath al-Sijistani. He makes he narrates on of for some reason I can't go down. Oh, here you go. He also narrates from Imam Ahmad. So here, look, for example, Babu Surad Dawab wal Fadl al-Mar'a, سؤر الدواب وفضل المرأة. So for here is أخبرنا أبو بكر قال حدثنا أبو داود قال سمعت أحمد بن حنبل قال أكره سؤد الحمار والبغال. So here the point is there's a chain. There's a chain here. Even though he was ملازمة له, he had taken from him. You find some of them he would narrate directly مشافعة from him. So here the point is that's what takes precedence. So that's just an example of taking the statements. As for the example of what's the last statement, I'll give you an example here. مثلا here, can everyone see the camera? Can everyone see?
Yes, sister.
Okay, so here, give you an example of لحظة. So here, if you see this is ضعيف. This is ضعيف. So as you can see here, it's ضعيف الجامع الصغير وزيادته. Okay, of Al-Albani. This is Ta'lif Al-Albani. And Shawish again. So here is Shawish. أشرف على طبعه. Okay, he was the supervisor in his طبع. So here, if you notice this, you want to now, this is I'm trying to make an example of, give you an example of what his last statement is. Now, so it's this one. Is this one. إذا أفطر أحدكم فليفطر على تمر فإنه بركة فإن لم يجد تمرا فليفطر على الماء فإنه طهور. If the person is to break their fast, then let them break it upon tamar, dates, that it is barakah. For indeed it is barakah, and if they can't find dates, then let them break it upon water. Although we have, this is actually a sunnah we have, but here this referring to the matan, the actual matan, and this matan and who it's come from, which is Sulaiman ibn Amir al-Dibbi. He says, فَإِنَّهُ طَهُورٌ, it is tahur, it is pure. So here, notice it's got 3 dots here. This is to allude to, for you to pay attention. There is no, so here normally this is the classification that he's given, the authentication or tad'if, here mawdu'. Here it's got 3 dots, and if you look at the hamish, it says here, look at the footnote. كان هذا الحديث في صحيح الجامع الصغير في طبعة الأولى. This hadith was in Sahih Jami' al-Saghir in the first طبعة, ثم نقل إلى هنا بناء على أمر الشيخ, because the Sheikh, يعني Sheikh al-Albani, عفاه الله, he says, may Allah Azza wa Jal pardon him for this issue, obviously, although it was his mistake. may Allah pardon him, he said that he ordered this. So Sheikh Al-Albani ordered the last goal. And here, how do we know that as well? This would help you, inshallah ta'ala. If you look at the tab'ah, this is tab'ah al-thalitha. This is 1990. Now, obviously, we know the Sheikh passed away in 1999. Unless somebody knows of another tab'ah, another edition, this is the third edition. It says in what we were looking at, it says what we was looking at, it said in tab'at al-ula that basically he had it initially in tab'at al-ula, the first edition, and then he had changed obviously due to obviously what became up more apparent to him now is that it is نقل هذا, it is ضعيف. So if we go to him right now, we go to جامع الصغير, he says جامع الصغير في الطبعة الأولى. So جامع الصغير زيادته, we go to that, we can find it here now. So obviously in Bahth, you don't sit and just settle for whatever it says on the paper. You would follow to the teeth everything. So here we want to actually see this ourselves. Okay, so again, I've got طبعة الثالثة. This is طبعة الثالثة of جامع الصحيح. This is صحيح جامع الصغير. So the one we were looking at was ضعيف جامع الصغير. This is صحيح جامع الصغير. Bear with me with the camera. I'm just trying to open. I need my few hands. Where I mark the paper. Now, here you go. So here you go. So this is Sahih Jami' al-Saghir. So here it says it was there first. So here was Sahih Jami' al-Saghir. Okay, this is the copy of the edition, the tab'ah of. You can see here it says 1408, which is 1988. Okay, 1988. طبعة الثالثة. So here, if you look, it says إذا أفطر أحدكم فليفطر على تمر فإنه بركة فإن لم يجد. There's the hadith, the nas of it. He says is ضعيف here. Okay, now here, the reason why, although this is, you may be thinking, if somebody just opened this book right now, and then they say, okay, I've got Sahih Jami' al-Saghir wa ziyadatuhu. Okay, and there's obviously ضعيف we just had. This is the Sahih. So all of these are hadith are Sahih. And then he falls upon this and he says, hold on a minute, why is it ضعيف? Why is it ضعيف? Here there's something going on, right? So again, this is where you do tatabbu' and you try to find out what happened. So here clearly the Sheikh took it back. As we learned, he put it into the ضعيف volume. Okay, he put it into the ضعيف volume. نقل إلى هذا يعني الجزء, this volume. But here, because this is the third tab'ah, what they did is they just corrected it. So here, all of them are sahih. Look, sahih. This is da'if. And here, it says here, when you go to the hamish, it says the one on the footnote, it says here, أثبت شيخنا الألباني بعد ذلك أنه ضعيف. Sheikh Al-Albani, he clarified after this that actually I made a mistake. This hadith is da'if. فنقلناه إلى هناك. Okay, so we put it here. And who said this? Zuhair. Yani Zuhair, the one who done ishraf of the tab'ah. Okay, so that's just an example of yani that's an example of something of the final statement of a sheikh. Is that mafhum? Does everyone understand that? Because we did say today, inshallah, we're going to make some actual practical examples. Did everybody understand that? No. So again, you got the musnada. We also mentioned the musannafat ghayr musnada. Now these are musannafat that you find. The types of books are musannafat that are ghayr musnada, that are not connected. Yani they don't have, they're not connected to the qawl of that sheikh. Like for example, Fath al-Bari, Sharh Sahih al-Bukhari, Al-Hafid ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. Most of the times he would say the sheikh said this, Imam Ahmad said this, قال أبو يعلى, قال الزهري, وخالف الأمر يعني Ibn Hubayra مثلا. He'll mention names and he'll say that, but there's no like حدثنا, there's no sanad. Okay, and similar to that is a tamheed لما في الموطأ من المعاني والمسانيد of Ibn Abd al-Barr, Abi Amr Yusuf ibn Abd al-Barr. He mentions as well Nail al-Awtar is similar to that as well. شرح منتقى الأخبار of الشوكاني, شرح المهذب or المجموع شرح المهذب of النووي. Al-Mughni Sharh Muntaq al-Khiraqi of Ibn Qudama. They kind of like that. They mention the aqwal of the madahib, but it's not musnad. It doesn't have like haddathana, going all the way back to Imam Ahmad or Imam Shafi'i, Imam Abu Hanifa or Maliki, Imam Malik. Now, ثالثا, another point is also the aqwal of the tabi'een. So the second daraja, you goes to aqwal of tabi'een. So when you're doing your research, you would give more preference to aqwal of tabi'een. And this is as well, especially when it comes to tafsir, there's certain tabi'een, like Mujahid, you guys are all familiar with. And even the tabi'een, they mentioned that the aqwal of the tabi'een, they're mu'tabar fi tafsir. They're mu'tabar. And not only for tafsir, but in many sciences. Because obviously they're the closest to the Prophet ﷺ. They only have the companions, مثلا like Ibn Shihab al-Zuhri, who took from the companions. Muhammad ibn Sirin, مثلا, who took from the companions, right, including Abu Huraira. Then you go to the next step, you would go to Aqwal A'immat al-Arba. Aqwal A'immat al-Arba, after that, you would prefer them, okay, because there are obviously, there are Imma, there are, subhanallah, yani, the Ummah has united upon that they're four leading ulama, although they're not the only madhab. You know, Zuhri had his own madhab, Sufyan al-Thawri, but they didn't, even Bukhari, but they didn't last. They weren't, yani, their companions, the ashab, after that, they didn't, it wasn't serviced a lot, nor was it like preserved. So due time, it sort of faded out. But these are the four lasting ones. So you check theirs, inshallah ta'ala. And now, so you go to, for example, Madhab Abu Hanifa, we mentioned, you go to the Kitab, Zahiratul Riwayat, Al-Mabsut, Imam Shafi'i, you go to Imam Ahmad Hamdi, you go to what we mentioned, Al-Masail, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Riwayati Abi Dawood. Again, you prefer what is musnada than what is not musnada. So if you want to get the aqwal direct from Imam Ahmad, you won't go to Al-Mughni Sharh, مثلا al-Khiraqi of Ibn Qudama, يعني Al-Mughni of Ibn Qudama, nor Al-Nail al-Awtar, he may cite him. You want to go to the actual books that are more mu'tamad. And from them are those that are musnada to Imam Ahmad or Imam Maliki and the rest. I keep saying Imam Malik or the rest. Aqwal Aimma غير منصوصة. Okay, then there's the aqwal of the ummah that are غير the ummah of the ulama of the ummah that are غير منصوصة, like Shaykh Islam ibn Taymiyyah. Okay, many times he has many aqwal and masail, and he mentions aqwal about them and stuff like that. And he mentions as well about the يعني لازم القول. He mentions if there's a لازم القول, if it's للحق, then it is حق. Otherwise, as he mentions here, he says وهذا التفصيل في اختلاف الناس في لازم المذهب هل هو مذهب أو ليس بمذهب. يعني if some people they attribute to Imam Ahmad or others a statement or a position due to the lazim, due to the implications. So they say, okay, this may imply that he's doing this or that. So you can't just take that. If it's haq, then, as Shaykh Islam is demonstrating here, then you take it. Okay, meaning if you do find that's actually what they're pushing, this is actually what they're calling to, then you do take it. Otherwise, then is lazim al-madhab, laysa bi-madhab. That's the correct position, to make lazim of someone's statement, to allude to someone saying something without having actually said it, and due to whatever you see coming off of them that you may think is the implication of what they're saying. It's not lazim. Okay, but he said if it's bil haq, then he's he goes, and also he said فمن كان من اللوازم يرضاه القائل بعد وضوحه له فهو قوله. مثلا if there's a alim who's alive today, if it's lazim, if he's okay with your conclusions of his statement, okay, your deducing or your conclusions or understanding of his statement, if he's okay with that, he said, yeah, that's correct, مثلا, or that's what's understood. مثلا, he was to be asked again. مثلا, Sheikh Saleh Fawzan was to be asked again. He said, Sheikh, you said this, on that book, on this book. Does this mean this? And the Sheikh says, yes. So you've made lazim of his qawl, but you've asked him, and he said, yes, he's okay with it. So Sheikh Islam ibn Taymiyyah says, فَمَنْ كَانَ مِنَ اللَّوَازِمِ يَرْضَاهُ الْقَائِلُ بعد وضوحه, after his clarity, فهو قوله, then that's his statement. وما لا يرضاه فليس قوله وإن كان متناقضا. He says, but if it's not from his, if he's not okay with this, so Sheikh Fawzan says, this is what you understood? No, I don't. This is not. But they said, but someone who's obviously going to be obviously somewhat of fitan. Nobody will talk to a sheikh like that, but someone says, no, sheikh, this is what we understand from your speak, and therefore this is what you meant. Yeah, people are like that actually. They think this is what Sheikh Fawzan says, Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen, Sheikh Al-Albani. But when he's actually asked, no. Sheikh Al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, he says, وَإِن كَانَ مُتَنَاقِضًا, even if it's actually contradictory, because he's telling you now outright, no, I don't believe this, or this is not what I meant or understood, even though some of his words may actually lead to that, or it may be contradicting himself. So I know I've said a lot in this majal, or this issue, but this is just khulasa of dealing with the kalam of the ulama, That last point I've mentioned of lazim, you can understand how some of the Ahl al-Bid'ah, when they quote Bin Baz or Ibn Uthaymeen to try, especially those are alive today, they don't really take from Ibn Uthaymeen or Al-Albani, or in many of the masail, except the ones that they find that suits them. When you find it, they're trying to push a certain context that the Sheikh says. You can see from other clear, unambiguous statements, the Sheikh goes against that. So here we say, لازم القول ليس بمذهب. Is that understood? Is everyone with me? Naam, is everyone with me? Jazakumullah khair. I've only got one person that's saying yes, but I assume that's the mushrif am for you all. Now, inshallah ta'ala, what we want to do is, bi'idhnillah, like I said, we're going to try and demonstrate, and we're going to do a bahth. Right now, we're going to, inshallah ta'ala, do a bahth. I'm going to put my camera on again, and we're going to actually take the road to doing a bahth for whatever remains of this majal. And also, I'm going to show you, actually, let me leave the bahth to later. I want to show you, inshallah ta'ala, some of the books you may have to look at, for example, or how you're going to look at books. Okay, so I'm going to put my camera on again. Mufradat Gharib al-Quran Raghib al-Asfahani. Can everyone see? So this is what you would like refer to. Okay, for example, you go to your masala, you're thinking, okay, right now they're arguing. Sorry, that sounds quite disrespectful. So right now they're disputing about a particular word. This issue revolves around a particular word. So you might want to look into that word, for example. If there's an ayah al-Qur'aniyah, or if there's a gharib min ayah al-Qur'aniyah, you go to these type of mustalahat books. So this is Raghib al-Asfahani, and there's a particular one that I've cited for us. So we look here. So here, for example, the word halaka, for example. Okay, al-halaku. He says is ala thalathati awjuhin. It has three type of ways or contexts. Okay, it can be iftiqad al-shay, that you lost something. افتقاد الشيء عنك وهو عند غيرك موجود كقوله تعالى هلك عني سلطانية, that you lost something and it's with somebody else, and somebody else has it, like the statement of Allah, هلك عني سلطانية, my authorship or my rulership has left me. This is what they're going to say. Kings and whatnot are going to say that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from that. Or it can be وهلاك الشيء باستحالة وفساد كقوله ويهلك الحرث والنسل, because something is eroded and corrupted, like the statement of Allah ويهلك الحرث والنسل, and they destroyed الحرث والنسل, يعني crops and vegetation. Okay, ويقال هلك الطعام, you can also say هلك الطعام, يعني the طعام هلك, the food has been destroyed. What it means is يعني you can say هلك الطعام. Or a thalith, he mentions al-maut, it can mean death. So like someone halaka, you don't say when someone dies and translate it to say halaka, he's been destroyed. No. So in this context, he's been, as Allah says, in imru'un halaka, in the ayat of inheritance, in imru'un halaka, if someone halaka, i.e. dies, you don't say if someone is halaka, destroyed. Okay? وقال تعالى مخبرا عن الكفار وَمَا يُهْلِكُنَا إِلَّا الدَّهْرِ, and what will not destroy us, nothing will destroy us except dahr, time. Okay, so here they don't mean, afwan, I even translated it wrong. Here they don't mean destroy, they mean nothing would make us to pass, to kill us, or to make us to die, or to be deceased, إِلَّا الدَّهْرِ, except time. So this is just an example of the word halaka, and there's many. So we've got other words here, halal, okay, wa ahl. And it goes obviously via the alphabetical order. So you look at the alphabetical order. Okay, this is Noon Fa Ra. Then he moves on to Noon Fa Sin. Nothing you're not familiar with. So that's an example of looking into that. I want to give you an example of a bahth in this book. This book is 2 volumes, okay? Dar ibn al-Jawzi, and it's called Al-Thabat ala Dinillahi, being firm upon the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَأَثَرُهُ فِي حَيَاةِ الْمُسْلِمِ, and its effects on the life of the Muslim في ضوء الكتاب والسنة, in the boat of Kitab. This book is a very, very good book, okay, by Dr. Al-Amin, Al-Sadiq Al-Amin. What it was actually, it says sometimes they have it here, okay? Sometimes it's said here, okay, that it was actually a bahth. It says أصل هذا الكتاب, the origin of this book, رسالة جامعية تقدم بها الباحث نيل درجة الدكتوراه. The bahith, he presented this and he got the درجة الدكتوراه, which is doctor, من جامعة القرى بمكة المكرمة بإشراف الأستاذ الدكتور محمد. No. So this was actually originally a bahth. And as you can see here, look, that's what they do. Normally it starts off as a bahth. Sometimes it is this big during the munaqasha in the university, but sometimes then it goes into more volumes. Allahu A'lam, I'm not sure about the second volume, but there's another volume to this. Okay, so I just wanted to give you an example of the same thing the same method they use. Look, he's got his muqaddimah, and then he talks about the muqaddimah, and then he splits the muqaddimah into parts, and then he says, look, وَأَمَّا الْمَنْهَجَ الَّذِي سِرْتُ عَلَيْهِ فَهُوَ كَمَا يَلِي. As for the manhaj that I'm going to follow, then it's going to be al-asl, then al-hashiyah, you know. So the asl is going to consist of all of this. He's got now. So then he starts his fasl. He starts his fasl. Another one, which is strange enough, is actually from Jami'at al-Qura as well, is a book that says كتاب القبس في شرح موطأ مالك بن أنس لأبي بكر بن العربي المعروف المعافري. Okay, so this is مجلد الأول. If I'm not mistaken, I've got 2 volumes of this. So again, it was a bahth. Okay, so هذا الكتاب رسالة دكتوراه قدمت إلى كلية الشريعة والدراسات العلمية بجامعة القرى. Okay, so again, he uses the same. He's got the muqaddimah, then he's got الطبعة الأولى. Oh, he's got different طبعة, so different editions. So you may have a look. خطة البحث, as we explained yesterday, this is what he's going to follow in the خطة البحث. أما باب الأول, as for the first bab, فقد اجتمع على 5 فصول. It is comprised of 5 parts. So الفصل الأول حياة أبي بكر العربي وفيه 3 مباحث. The life of Abu Bakr al-Arabi, and it has 3 quests. The first quest, في اسمه ونسبه وكنيته وأسرته, his name, his where he's يعني ونسبته, and يعني where he comes, his عقيدة. مبحث الثالث ويجتمع على 5 مطالب. The 5th or the 3rd مبحث has 3 مطالب. Okay, 3 quests, and he goes on. Then he moves on to الفصل الثاني. So he's explaining how he is going to, and then he goes قسم التحقيق, how he's going to do tahqiq, so the referencing and stuff like that. Okay, so this is obviously, you're not going to obviously present something this big, but alhamdulillah, you can do a miniature version of this now, and then he goes into the book. Okay, so now that's an example of bahithin that presented books, and they became alhamdulillah, they got presented as actual to publishers, and publishers have published it. May Allah Azza wa Jalla reward them. That's an example of looking into the book Lughawi. Now what we're going to do, inshallah ta'ala, today we're going to do one bahth together, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, I say together, but I actually done it, but you're going to follow me in the steps that I've taken. So here what I have is شرح الإمام بأحاديث الأحكام, تأليف الإمام المجتهد ابن دقيق العيد. Okay, Ibn Daqiq al-Eid. This is a very beautiful book, alhamdulillah, especially the way it's been serviced. So what you do, inshallah, we're going to learn from this right now how to deal with books, what to look out for. So the first thing is you have to always check what the title always gives you understanding of what the book is. Second thing you do, most important after that, is you look at the mu'allif. Me, furthermore, actually, I start with this, because obviously we live in a day and era where there's many people who are muta'alimun, many people who claim to have knowledge, and they basically, a'udhu billah, you know, if you just look at the title, you may get intrigued. You may, oh, subhanallah, this is sharh of ahadith al-ahkam. and you don't look at the author. So me personally, I look at the author if he's on the haqq, if he's on the manhaj, if he's Salafi, if he's known to be from Ahlul Sunnah, if he's not known for controversy, because whatever, you know, as they say, you are what you eat. Literally like books as well, you will turn out how you are, especially if you're a person you enjoy reading and you actually reap from the books. You want to be careful what you feed your eyes and your heart. Okay, so this is Ibn Daqiq al-Eid. So first thing you look at the author. Okay, mashallah, Ibn Daqiq al-Eid. What book is this? Sharh al-Imam bi Hadith al-Ahkam. Okay, and then you look as well, this Mujallad al-Thalith is going to come obviously mostly in libraries, compact, right? And I'm saying this because you're probably going to be in a library or a maktaba trying to buy a book. So you're looking around in the Qism al-Aqidah, in the Aqidah section, the fiqh section, and then you're gonna look around and try to find a book. Inshallah. Obviously, I'll explain inshallah when you go to libraries. That's probably a lecture for another day, but how you approach libraries as well and what you look out for. Here, what we're going to do, I'm just going to show you, when you look for the book, you can even look for things as small as even like the paper quality. Okay, this one, alhamdulillah, I don't know if you see it in the camera quality, but it's brownish, right? It's brownish, which is good for the eye. If you're a long reader, you read in long intervals, this is good for you, because really you have to pay attention to your eyes. And Sheikh Al-Albani got told off for this many times, you know, but when someone's addicted to something, it's hard to stop. So again, it'll be nice if you kind of know what you're looking at. You first check as well, what edition is this? Tab'at al-Thalitha. Okay, this Tab'at al-Thalitha is always best to buy the latest one, the latest edition, and you know, for obvious reasons, there's tanqih, there's revision, corrections, clarification, elucidations. And then the second thing you look at, I forgot to mention, or the third thing, is the muhaqqiq. Now, I personally don't know this muhaqqiq, but we'll mention, inshallah, I'll mention some names of muhaqqiqeen, bi'idhnillah. Maybe I can send, like the Arnaout. You got Shu'aib al-Arnaout, okay, who done like 50, who done Sunan, who done tahqiq of Sunan Imam Ahmed, like 30 volumes, Mu'assis al-Risala. If I'm not mistaken, it's 50. He's done Sahih ibn Hibban. He's done many volumes of tahqiq. Al-Albani, obviously. You got Mashhur Hassan al-Salman, who's still alive from the Jordanian Mashayikh. Salim al-Hilali. You got the other Arnaout as well, Mahmoud al-Arnaout and Abdurrazzaq al-Arnaout. MashaAllah, they were very strong. Sometimes they partnered up and made tahqiq as well. Like, for example, if you look at the Zad al-Ma'ad, this is Zad al-Ma'ad في خير هذه العباد لابن القيم مؤسس الرسالة, right? So here, look, the two Arnauts, they teamed up here. Shu'aib al-Arnaout wa Abdul Qadir al-Arnaout, right? And then you've got another Arnaout, which is Muhammad al-Arnaout. Not mistaken, they all passed away. One, I can't remember which one. One of them was 2012, one was 2016. But they were, mashallah, they were, Allah musta'an. They were known, they were from the famous ones in the field. Okay, so they do tahqiq of this. They just basically, tahqiq is basically here it says that they're doing tahqiq, يعني حقق نصوصه وخرج أحاديثه وعلق عليه. That's what they do as well. They do ta'liq, annotations as well. So if you look here, okay, so here you go. Anything past this line is the author's works. So it's his referencing, sourcing, or little comments and corrections. These are very good. If you find a book with this, is a good sign. This book is service. Okay, look what it shows you. Basically, instead of you trying to find something what Ibn Qayyim says, you can put little side notes there for you. Okay, النهوض للركعة الثالثة. Okay, this is what he's talking about. That مثلا لم يثبت عنه قرافي الركعتين الأخريين شيئا. So nothing is confirmed from Al-Qarafi about the two last rak'ahs, مثلا. Okay, al-iltifatu fi salah, looking around during prayer. Okay, so it gives you these nice, mashallah. My sharing has gone off again, right?
It was working just until now, until the screen changed.
How about now?
Yep, it's fine.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. So, let me put this back because we weren't dealing with this. That's just give you an idea what you need to look for as well. So, the author, what the book is about, kind of you can tell from the title, who done tahqiq on it, and also it was good to know which dar, okay? So here you got dar, this is Mu'assas al-Risala, For example, you got another book here, Tilbis Iblis, Dar ibn al-Jawzi. Dar ibn al-Jawzi is from one of the best. Most of my books are Dar ibn al-Jawzi, Dar ibn al-Jawzi. If it's Ibn Uthaymeen, then you need to get Mu'assis. You need to get Mu'assis the Sheikh. This is not the Mu'assis though, but this is, it works along with him. This is Maktabat al-Rushd. But normally the Mu'assis of the Sheikh, Muhammad ibn Salih al-Uthaymeen al-Khairiyah, they have this logo here. Okay, and it's similar to this. You got Dar ibn Khuzaymah, Dar ibn Hazm. Dar ibn Hazm is as well, I think it's second to Ibn al-Jawzi, Dar ibn al-Jawzi, and they're very good. And why are they good? Again, there's many reasons. There's the servicing, how they serviced it, especially at the back. Okay, so this is the second type of thing that you would do when you find the book. You want to know the muhtawayat al-kitab, what the book is generally about. So you go straight to the contents page, right? So here, say you've never ever heard of what ahkam word means. You just look here and you see that he's talking about fiqh. Look, siwak and dukhul al-bayt. Okay, so this is a fiqh book through and through, all the way. Although some aqidah books have some fiqh in it, but here you go all the way and he's still talking about fiqh, okay, all the way, okay. Tawqiyah, this is Tawqiyah. Now, so this is obviously volume 1, so it doesn't pass Salah, right? Sa'im, okay. Fadlu khuluf al-sa'im, all right? Like the person who is fasting, the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that their breath is more beloved to Allah, more sweet to Allah than musk. So he talks about that, okay? And then you find out how he tackles it. So al-wajh al-awwal fi irad al-hadith bitamamihi, he mentioned the hadith in its totality. الوجه الثاني في تصحيح الحديث, then he does Ibn Taqiq al-Eid makes تصحيح of the hadith في اختيار رواية الباب, why he chose the riwayah or the narration of that bab. So let me go to the one that we want to do bahth on today, inshallah. How long we've got left? Okay, 5 minutes, but we'll just maybe continue. Is this hadith here? Okay. الحديث الثالث, he says رواه جماعة عن مالك عن ابن شهاب عن حميد بن عبد الرحمن عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أنه قال لولا أن يشق أنه يعني نعم لولا أن يشق على أمته لا أمرهم بالسواك مع كل وضوء. سبحان الله. The emphasis on Islam and purity. So here you got the referencing all here. This is not the kalam of the qid. Anything on the underlined is the kalam of the muhaqqiq that we explained. The muhaqqiq is doing all of this. So if we go to the author first, the author, for example, he has al-kalamu ala wujuh. He talks about this kalam ala wujuh. He's got another riwayah he brings here. Lola an ashukka ala ummati. Okay. From this is riwayah Rawh ibn Ubadah an Malikin bisanadihi ila Abu Hurairah. Okay, he says لولا أن أشق على أمتي لأمرتهم بالسواك مع كل صلاة. Does it say the same? لأمرهم. نعم لأمرتهم. So this is slight differences, so you pay attention to that too. الكلام عليه من وجوه. He talks about the وجه الأول. The first issue was talking about this في التعريف بين الذكر في التعريف بمن ذكر فيه. Talking about some of the people that mentioned in there. Ibn Shihab, he talks about who he is. Then he basically goes in to explain the hadith. On and on and on. Now pay attention to the footnotes. The footnotes are very beneficial. Here it says ta. You see, this is why it's good to know what you're looking at. Ta. Somebody will be like, okay, what is ta? This is why if you go to, in most books, it's in the beginning. You'll find in the beginning anything that the publisher or the muhaqqiq wants to further elucidate. He brings it in the beginning. I'm going to do this. Ta means this. Hat means that. What do these letters stand for? They're abbreviations, obviously. What do they stand for? In this case, because this is like a 4 to 5 volume book, they keep it in the first volume. So the first volume, now we want to find out what ta is. Okay, if you look at the first volume, where he's going to mention. Okay, so it has much here again. You can kind of from the first volume, you can understand a lot of things that's going on as well in this book. Okay, but obviously the publisher is going to talk about some of the things that they've serviced in the book, what they put in it, what other points of elucidations they have for the book, to service it. So hold on, let me just get the quiet page. Yeah, look, manhaj al-mu'allif fil kitab, the manhaj that the mu'allif done in the kitab. So number one, he does ta'rif ibn dhukir, as we just found out. He mentions the biography of the ones who mentioned in the chain of narration. Then he does tasheeh of the hadith. Then al-isharat ahyanan ila sabab ikhtiyar riwayati fil bab. Why he chose this narration, tafsir shay min mufradati al-hadith, clarifying some of the words of the hadith, some of the terminologies. إراد شيء من علم الإعراب أحيانا, sometimes mentioning إعراب, so grammar. Okay, so here, there you go. So ta is actually the manuscript. That's what it's referring to. So when he said ta, he says, what did he say? We go back to volume 2. So he said here, ta, he said in this manuscript, i.e. this manuscript, he says ta here, okay? He says, it says, لولا أن أشق على أمتي, okay? وجاء فوقها, and what is on top of it in the manuscript is كذا. ثم جاء في الهامش, and in the footnotes of that it says, صوابه كما بين بعد. لولا أن يشق, he says it's صوابه, okay, in that manuscript. Okay, so whoever done tahqiq on that manuscript. So again, this is another field of dealing with manuscripts and going back, because this kind of stuff can take you literally across the world. If you want to be a bahith and further excel, you can literally go across the world. This particular manuscript actually is in Turkey, okay, Istanbul. Okay, it's in Maktabata Kubrili. And Kubrili, if you search it up, that's actually Istanbul. And if you type up the Maktaba online, you can actually find there and perhaps, you know, catch a ticket and go there if you want to see it for yourself. There's a lot of manuscripts in the British Museum as well. Some of the mashayikh and some of the talabat al-ilm who are studying, they come here because there's some books that are found in the British Museum. Okay, I'm not surprised it got stolen anyway. The British Museum that are from Sheikh Islam Taymiyyah, and you can't find anywhere in the world. So you find some of the mashayikh, some of the talabat al-ilm, they'll actually come here, London, British Museum, to check out some of those manuscripts. So the point is, let's go back to our bahth. Okay, so we want to show some of the khutat you may take. So here we go back to our hadith. What about this? So for example, your masala is on about siwak. So you're going to look at this hadith. You're going to look at it. You say, okay, now these, you know, under this line, when you see these lines underneath the footnote stuff, this is literally the ocean of the bahith swims in. Because here you get other citations, other places where they are. So here it says تخريج الحديث رواه الإمام مالك في الموطأ ومن طريقه النسائي في السنن الكبرى والبيهقي on and on and on. وابن عبد البر في التمهيد. So inshallah, what we're going to do now, I've got tamheed. I'm going to go downstairs and we're going to find tamheed. We can go downstairs and we can find tamheed. We can find the hadith in tamheed in and of itself. So if you bear with me. Okay, can everyone see the camera? Okay, so this is the tamheed, right? Yeah. Okay, so he said Muwatta, right? Imam Malik. So now these type of books, they're like encyclopedic books, okay? And these are the type of ones, this particular one actually, Muwatta of Imam Malik, Muwatta of Ibn Abd al-Barr, Muwatta of Imam Malik, but this is Tamheed, which is the Sharh of Muwatta of Imam Malik. This, he pushes the aqwal of Imam Malik on the Masail, the Madhab, obviously. And it also has a lot of other points because he does a sharh on it. So Ibn Taymiyyah highly praises sharh. Okay, you got others as well like Nail al-Awtar, al-Shawkani, Sharh Muntakh al-Akhbar. This one, he talks about all of the fiqh issues and stuff like that. So it's just, you refer to them. It's not like you sit down and just read this book just for like, I don't know, just general ma'lumat and things like that. You could if you want to. But it won't be a book like, for example, a book of like, for example, Fadl al-Ilm, Virtues of Knowledge. You could just sit there on a day-to-day and just read that, okay? Then there's books that you study, like Sharh al-Sunnah. These are the type of books that you actually study. You need a sheikh to explain that. Tibb al-Qulub of Ibn Qayyim, Medicines of the Heart, Al-Hubb wal-Bughd. These are just some mabahith. Sharh Kaba'ir, Sharh Kitab al-Kaba'ir of al-Dhahabi, Fawzan Sharh. You're going to need to study that. You're going to need to study that, right? But these type of ones, you refer to them for citations and you know, just trying to locate things. How do you locate it? A lot of times, in this particular case, actually, Tamheed, I've got like the older copy. This is Dar Ihya Turath Al-Arabi. But the best one is I forgot what the Dar is, but it's explained by Al-Basha, and it's actually been praised as one of the best ones. Plus, it has a lot of things that are elucidated and clarified, that are munakkaha and stuff, revised. So here, we need to find that narration. How are we going to find that narration? Now, obviously, all of this I'm showing you guys, of course, you can go to the Shamila, but I'm saying again, you've got books, or if you go to a library, and if you can sort of practice this, go into a book and actually getting from books, that would be of benefit for you. So here, volume 3. So volume 3. Okay, volume 3. So how we're going to find it is here, you want to know what the book's about. Okay, so here you'll find, go to the context page again, and it shows you all here. Okay, so محتوى الجزء الثاني, الجزء الثالث, what the third volume tells. So this is talking about the ahadith. We need the riwayah of Ibn Shihab from Humayd bin Abdurahman. That's what the narration said, Ibn Shihab, then Humayd bin Abdurahman. So that's what we're going to look for. You can check via here, and then you'll find Ibn Shihab from Humayd. Okay, so this is all Ibn Shihab right now. We're on Hadith al-Rabi' of Ibn Shihab and Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib. Muttasil. We need the one from Abdurahman or Humayd ibn Abdurahman. So where is that? Here you go. So there you go. So what we got here, there you go. So we got Hadith of Shihab, okay, and Humayd ibn Abdurahman ibn al-Awf. That's our narration. But then we need the one that goes to Abu Hurairah, because they can go to someone else from here. Okay, so what we'll do is, alhamdulillah, we're on the right pages right now. Soon he's going to move off from Humayd to another Humayd. We need Humayd ibn Abdurahman. Humayd bin Abdurahman bin Awf. So that's page 293. 293. So this is the process you're going to go in. 293. 293. Okay, Ibn Shihab and Humayd. We're looking for that. What we're looking for? لولا أن أشق على أمتي, right? لولا أن يشق على أمتي. Okay, so here we're looking for the narration. Okay. So you just have to find the narration. So find the narration from here on. I've got marked it actually. No, I did. So here you go. Ibn Shihab and Humayd بسنده. Where is it? Here it is. قال مالك عن ابن شهاب عن حميد بن عبد الرحمن بن عوف عن أبي هريرة قال لولا أن يشق على أمته, أي Abu Hurairah is saying this about the Prophet. لأمرهم, that the Rasul would have أمرهم بالسواك مع كل وضوء. There's another narration that says Salah. So then now you have all of Ibn Abdul Bar's kalam. Okay, everything I say about the hadith, the different riwayah, the sharh, it goes on and on. Here, this one goes on for like 2 pages and a half. Then it goes to another narration of Humayd Musnad. Okay, so now, for example, if I'm going to look for that narration, Lola and Ashuk ala ummati in Nail al-Awtar, I want to see what Shawkani says about this now. I want to see what Shawkani says about this. So here, again, books are serviced differently. When you buy the book, you have to find out how it's serviced. So, can everyone hear me, by the way? Because I'm away from my laptop. I just want to make sure you guys can hear me.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So here what you do is you have to find out. So here, obviously I bought this, so I've looked into it. I know that all of the contents page and everything is on the last volume. So the last volume, literally that's all it deals with. It just deals with, as you can see, look, the whole volume just references the content. So now let's find Lola and Ashokta. So here, this is, alhamdulillah, this is serviced well. You just go to lam, obviously alphabetical order, okay? And to make it easier, did I mark it? No, I didn't. I prepared these steps. Okay, so we're on Sad. We need lam. There you go. We found lam. Okay, but what lam do we need? We need lam and wow, low. Okay, here you go. There's low. So low, low, low la. We need low la. Okay, low la. So this is low. We need low la. Okay, so there's two low la. Low la and yaqul nas. Low la. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I'm missing something. It should be here. No, it can't be. Can't be there. Ajib. Ala kulli hal, you get the idea. You'll find it here, and then what you do is when you find the page, tell the volume that it's in. We'll tell you, for example, here, Lola anni mittu ma haddathuka. Had it not been for the fact that I was dying, I wouldn't narrate this to you. This is from Mi'qal ibn Yasar. You can search via narrator, or it tells you what volume to go to, volume 1461. Okay, so it's volume 1461. So now you will then just go to volume 1461, and you'll find the narration there, and from there you'll find just I actually don't know what happened to Lola. I was hoping we can stay on track, but you get the idea. So then there you'll find all of Shawkani's statements. Everything Shawkani says about the hadith, on and on. And also with that, like I said, these lines are very, when you find these lines, you get happy. It shows the book is service, and the Muhakkik is doing a very, very good job. Here it gives you further references. Okay, Al-Qamus al-Muhit, but furthermore, so your study can just be endless and endless and endless. And as you've seen, just this hadith, Lawla an yashqa ala ummati, we've literally been on it for about 30 minutes. So imagine the amount of time that the ulama have put into seeking knowledge and whatnot. So this is just some of what I wanted to convey today. I hope that was some sort of benefit, inshallah ta'ala. For those who are obviously familiar with this, alhamdulillah, is the kind of basics. Those who ain't, and perhaps because I know what it was like first, not knowing much Arabic, or not having knowledge of the books, and you're kind of like a bit, okay, what should I get, and stuff like that. So it kind of gives you an understanding of how deeper you can go into books. Again, Ustad said, this is just an example, because Ustad said you can just use the Shamila. You go Shamila online, you can find the page, you can find everything. You can just go search the book, and then just use the search bar to find, put keywords and just search it. But inshallah ta'ala, this was of some benefit, and inshallah, hopefully, you never know. You never know, one day we may lose the internet. And some of the scholars used to joke about it, and they used to say, students of knowledge today are only students of knowledge until the Wi-Fi cuts out. You know, so if the Wi-Fi cuts out, you have issues. But if you've got used to this type of search, and you know, you've got paper cuts from flipping papers and stuff like that, and you spend time in looking into these books, you can be sitting there for hours. Some mabahith, they go on for days, literally. And if you're scratching to get an answer, or you're begging for more because you're just getting so much benefit. Last point I want to mention, inshallah ta'ala, is I want to show you guys how to note down benefits. Okay? How to note down benefits. Give me a second, let me sit on my mic. Okay, alhamdulillah. So this is something, alhamdulillah, I benefit from one of the strong students of knowledge. May Allah will reward them. And this is what you do, inshallah ta'ala, when you want to benefit from something. So what you do is, for example, you have a fa'idah. Let me just put this on the screen. Can you see this? Can you see this?
Yep.
Okay. So here, this is, again, we're dealing with the book, Masail. Okay, Masail Imam Ahmad from his son. Okay, so you've got a fa'idah you want to put in here. So it says, Babum ma'ul wudu yusibu thawba. The mat of wudu that has been, the water has been touched by a thawb, or cloth, or garment. Okay, what's with that mat? This is سألت أبي عن ماء الطهور إذا تطهر به. If the ماء الطهور, the person purifies themselves with it, فأصاب ذلك الماء قفة أو نعله, يعني it falls on, يعني for example his slippers, ينبغي أن يغسل ذلك أم لا, if should a person wash that or not, he says لا يغسل ولا يلتفت, the person shouldn't wash it, don't worry about it, لا يلتفت إلى شيء من ذلك, don't pay attention to anything of that. Let's just say, for example, I'm just giving you an example, this was somewhat sort of cognate, you know, sort of benefit for you, for yourself. What you do, inshallah, to note that down is you say, okay, you get a paper, طبعا, as a researcher and a student knowledge, you should always, especially the brothers, I don't know about the sisters, but if you got your pocket on your thobe, your chest thobe, and the pen, you should kind of always have that with you. Although the pen, a person would advise having the pen there, you know, it's you know, just have it in your pocket, because a lot of times, you know, the pen, I don't know, seems to open and constantly it can you know, the ink can fall onto your throat, but you can have it somewhere else. Anyway, ala kulli hal, the point is you should have with you a book and a pen ready, so when you're reading, and as we're doing research right now, as you're doing, you want to take down more notes, okay, more notes. So as we went to Muwatta of Sharh al-Tamheed لما في الموطأ من المعاني والأسانيد, as we went there, of Ibn Abd al-Barr's book, we should have also had a book and a pen ready, jotting down everything. Okay, so that's the narrator, so here's the difference, and then we go to other books, and then Sharh al-Muslim. I had Sahih Muslim, we don't have time, but I could have gone to Sahih Muslim. Sahih Muslim that I have is about 10 or so volumes. The last volume is also where the references are, so you want to write down every point of reference. So what you do is you write that down. Once you write that down, at some point in the day, you come home, right? Or you are at home. What you do is you write it, or if not, you can punch it straight in. So what you do is you go here. This is the unwan al-fa'ida. So what you do about unwan al-fa'ida here, you say, what's the fa'ida you benefit from this? You say, لا بأس إذا صار الماء نعم. So there's no problem in how do you, okay. No, let me just nah. So there's no, you say here, so this what you do is عنوان الفائدة. Sorry, I put the wrong thing here. Actually, this is the nas. Yeah, نعم. عنوان الفائدة is the type of benefit. What's the benefit about? Okay. You say there's no problem. لا بأس إذا أصاب الماء ثوب. There's no problem if your thobe, some of your garments touch the water that you was doing wudu in. Okay. نص الفائدة now. You want to put the nas, the actual wording of the faidah. So what you do is obviously here you'll put, if you can look at the right side of the page, you put the actual kalam of you say قال إمام أحمد لا يغسل ولا يلتفت إلى شيء من ذلك. You put that there. قال إمام أحمد لا يلتفت, يعني لا يلتفت إلى هذا. Then the موضوع the موضع الفائدة, the place where the fa'idah was found. So you say obviously page 3 of يعني مسائل Imam Ahmed, and then you put the tab'a, you put everything, you put who was the nashir, the publishers. Okay, this is Maktabat al-Islami, and then you do the muhaqqiq Zuhair al-Shawi, and you put the title of the book there, and that's a fa'idah that you benefited. Okay, does everyone understand that? So this is just a nice way of putting down fawaid. That's all we have for now. Inshallah ta'ala will end there. Allah yabarak fikum. And again, if this I've mentioned sometimes, I've mentioned like looking into big books and like, don't be put off. I'm just saying this is just for you to get an idea. Okay. So if you ain't got a library, or if your library is small, like mine, and it's not about having a big library, it's about taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But you can go to the maktabat, you can go to the actual libraries, and that's why you know, you ever wondered why some people go to the library and they stand there for so long? They know what they're looking at, they know what they're looking for, right? So you can read there. It's like Al-Albani, we went to Maktabat al-Zahiriyah, and he was there for so long, for so many hours and so many days, and he kept on returning, that they gave him the keys. They gave him the keys. They just said, look, you know what, you lock up after you finish, you know. But the point is, you go there. If not, then again, you can just go on Shamila. You can go on Shamila and you can just find the goal there. Okay. Yeah, there's Maktabat al-Shamila. There you just find the book there. Okay, so the book you want to look for, Sharh of Sahih Muslim مثلا. Okay, Bahth fil Kutub, Asma' al Kutub. Okay, you can find the muhtawi, okay, what it entails. And kullu kitab huna. And it tells you how to do it. Okay, you can find it by the name of the mu'allif, Ibn Abd al-Bar, Ibn al-Qayyim, and then find his book there. And then the good thing about this is that, for example, we say at-tamheedu. This is the tab'a, and it tells you the tab'a. This is the good thing about Shamila. So when you're referencing, you pay attention to this, right? It says, look, the kitab is called التمهيد لما في الموطأ من المعاني والأسانيد في الحديث رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. The mu'allif, Abu Amr ibn Abd al-Barr al-Nimri al-Qurtubi. Okay? Tells you even when he passed. So you can know all of that. حقوق وعلق عليه باشر عواد معروف. Basically, he's the one who done the tahqiq on it. Right? The Nashid, the publishers, were مؤسسة الفرقان للتراث الإسلامي. Okay? London. Tab'a, which tab'a was it? Tab'a, you can put this down. So now what he was looking for, you go to what he was looking for. Okay. So in our case, we were looking for Ibn Shihab. So you go to, for example, here, you go down and you find Ibn Shihab, and then you click on it and then find the actual nas there. Okay. This is from Abu Sufyan, Abu Ayyub al-Sikhtiyani, al-Basri. And there you go. So this is how you use Shamila. You can go forward the pages, and it has, obviously, this is Tamheed, it has its Muhakkik's notes there. You can go back here with that arrow, and you can even copy and paste. Okay, on and on. You can benefit from the maktaba. If not, you can go to an actual maktaba. We want to exercise some research. I'll say do a bit of both. Wallahu a'lam. Jazakum Allah khair. Any points you want to add? Any notes? How beneficial did you find it? Did it take you off a bit?
Ustad, I have a question.
تفضل.
So you know how because like you know how like there was a starting point and it was like looking at the different imams and their opinions.
Nah.
Would it be a good idea to start with looking at specific books for each school of thought, looking at sharhs for those, and then like going into more details after? Like, would that be a good starting point?
Okay, so Jazakallah khair, good question. It depends how deep you are, but I gave you the most deepest of the ways you can find. But obviously, you got 10 pages. Ustad's not going to read. If Ustad sees you done 50 pages, he's probably going to smile and be a bit happy about it and then read it. But if all of you don't do 50 pages, Allah alam. And again, we are all beginner students of knowledge, so we take it step at a time. So what I would advise is you start off small. So what's the masala? Okay, taswir al-masala. So you write down the taswir al-masala. Okay, this is about this issue. And you find out what the evidences are. Oh, sorry, what the aqwal, if they split into aqwal. Remember I told you, if you look at the screen, remember I told you all, okay, can you see this screen? That's the wrong screen, sorry. Now, I'm assuming you can see the screen now. There's something on the way. Hold on. There you go. No? Can everyone see the screen? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So here, remember when I spoke about this? Okay, this one, you find out what's the masail about. If it's jama'iyya, then you say, okay, khalas. You say, هذا مسألة مجمع عليه. This is a mas'ala, there's an agreement upon. And then you try to find the mustanad. You try to find the evidence for the mas'ala. Because there's ijma', obviously they say, the ulama, they say ijma' has to have a sanad, whether you don't know it or not. It has to have a sanad, meaning there is a hadith or ayah behind it. Otherwise, they can't just come and agree on something, even if it's not known to you. But you will find it. And then if it's masala khilafiyya, we said the way you approach it. So if it's masala khilafiyya, what you do is you do a miniature bahth of that. Okay? So here's a summary of the speech. You do a miniature bahth. Taswir of the mas'ala. Then how much views they differed in. And then evidence of each party. The evidence they used and their wajh al-istidlal. And then you know, you will try to somehow make tajrih of tarjih. You try to make tarjih of it. To say which one is the proponent view. So we look at their views, say this because it has a hadith from Bukhari. These ones, they have hadith that are weak. But then obviously you kind of have to maybe look, so you might have to branch out just a little bit, right? Then you make your conclusion. You try to finish it in 10 pages. So you won't go as deep as thinking about, you know, you might not go too far into lughawi, too far into what the mas'ala entails, right? Or you can just cap it down to just say, I'm only going to look at here. I'm going to do, for example, I'm going to do wasf al-tahlili, the portrayal one, the portrayal type of wasf, okay, which is that I'm just going to present the qawl of Imam Ahmad. I'm not going to do anything else, just like Zad al-Mustaqni. Who can tell me, here's a question, who can tell me what they think Zad al-Mustaqni, which type of publication is it? Here. Especially those who were in the previous session. Guess.
Is it istinbati
Istinbati?
or
Does anyone agree with
tahlili?
that?
I don't know.
Maybe the first one.
Wasfi. Naam, it's wasfi. Because if you look at Zad al-Mustaqni, he doesn't tell you, he doesn't try to bring, say, because the hadith says this and it's wajib, and wajib means you must do it ala al-fawri, and basically it's, and in your reward, ma yuthabu ala fi'li wa yu'aqibu ala tarki, giving you the elucidation in usul al-fiqh al-lugha. No, he's not doing that. Nor is he doing an investigative one, which is similar to that. He's just doing portrayal. He's telling you ma'un, tahurun, ala thalathati anwa'. Clean water is 3 types. This. If it's like this, kureh is disliked. If it's like this, lam yukra is not disliked. He doesn't move to anything. He's just portrayal of the madhab. So Zad al-Mustaqni is wasfi. Okay, does everyone understand? So you can do that approach, sister, the one who asked me the question. You can do that approach. You can just say, you know what? This masala, I'm just going to do wasfi. Or you can say, I'm going to do a bit of istiqra investigation. So I'm going to say some masala khilafiyah. There's 5 issues, there's this issue, and then end it with a khatima saying this is the particular issue. Why do I think that? Because X, Y, and Z, and end it with a contents page. Maybe thank the teacher, and then that's it. You end your bath like that. It doesn't have to be too academic because we're not. This is like we're taking baby steps. This is maybe some of your first researches that you're doing. Did that answer the question, sister?
Yes, barakallahu feek.
Now, so it's getting late now. Unless there was a very, very important question somebody had. Right. So we'll end it there, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair for your time. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وقل رب زدني